in Brendan Ciaran Browne. He's an associate professor of conflict resolution and reconciliation at Trinity College and at Bard College. He joins me now live from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. It's good to see you again, Brendan. What do you make of these small incursions in Gaza? Are we getting closer to a big land invasion?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It certainly seems that that's where we're moving towards. I mean, catastrophically, we have to say that is not something that we should be pushing towards. I mean, this is going to be a disaster, a humanitarian catastrophe, as your reporter has already pointed out. It seems that there were small incursions, as you said, in the early hours of the morning or late last night. We got some reports on Twitter that was happening. So yeah, it remains to be seen what way this plays out. But I really hope that we can pull back from the abyss here.
What do you think the repercussions of a land invasion would be for Israel in particular? Because they're already being pressured for a ceasefire. If they go ahead with the ground incursion, what kind of backlash could they face?
Well, I mean, first of all, they're going to face resistance. That's the first thing that's going to come up. They're going to have to be ready for that. I'm sure they've made a calculated assessment of that. I mean, as you've said, look, the world and the global opinion on this, and world leaders, reluctant. I think there's a bit of reticence in their tone, but now do seem to be putting a slight sort of pressure on the Israelis not to go in on a ground incursion, but again, nowhere near enough. Like we saw UN resolutions being vetoed at the Security Council. The General Assembly are going to look at this as well and see what they propose. But yeah, it remains to be seen again what way this plays out.
A ceasefire, uninterrupted humanitarian aid, and a once and for all political solution. This is what analysts say need to be done as soon as possible. But will they take that route, and how many people need to die in order for them to start that path to recovery?
I find that a really difficult thing to even comprehend. I mean, what a horrible thing that we have to think about. I mean, the demands are very clear, and the demands have been very clear from the outset. For anybody that has followed this space for a long time, anybody that's been interested in a free and liberated Palestine will know that there has to be a full dismantling of the apartheid state. There has to be a full dismantling of the siege of Gaza. There has to be a full reckoning with the fact that Israel retains its occupation over the Palestinian people. Now, the immediate pressing concern right now, absolutely pressing, is a ceasefire. This has to stop categorically, and then bringing in a huge international aid effort to rebuild sheer carnage and sheer destruction in Gaza. And let's be really clear as well, this has to spread beyond Gaza. This has to take into consideration what's going on across Palestine itself. I mean, mass internment, people being arrested without charge, people's movements in the West Bank being completely suppressed, rampant settler attacks across the space as well. So we really need to look at this holistically.
Right, and the situation in the occupied territories is expected to get worse, especially after Ben Gvir put forward a vote proposing to relax rules of engagement and allow police to open fire on Palestinian protesters in the occupied territories. Professor Brendan Ciaran Browne, thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour. We appreciate your analysis.